Delhi is once again grappling with a deadly winter smog crisis. The air in the capital reached dangerous levels. The air quality index, AQI, currently remains at 382 today, putting most areas in the very poor category. Some localities have already crossed the 400 mark, entering the severe zone. Visibility dipped across several parts, a thick layer of toxic haze hanging over the capital, making breathing an immediate health risk. In fact, neighboring parts are also struggling with the worsening air quality. Faridabad reported an AQI of 232, Gurugram 286, Ghaziabad 396, Greater Noida standing at 382, Noida 391. Environmental experts warn that PM 2.5 particles, the most harmful pollutants that are penetrating deep into the lungs, causing severe health risks, vehicular emissions, industrial pollution, construction dust, are the key reasons driving this crisis. Now, meteorologists say the spike is the result of calm winds, low temperatures, high moisture, which trap the pollutants close to the ground. The winter inversion effect, where the cold air gets trapped under a layer of warm air, is further locking the toxins in the air and preventing them from dispersing. Health authorities, meanwhile, urging the residents to limit outdoor activities, especially children, elderly citizens, asthma patients, and people with heart conditions. Prolonged exposure to these levels can lead to respiratory distress, eye irritation, and reduced lung function. The G20 summit has marked a major diplomatic message to the United States. Despite a U.S. boycott that left Washington absent from the table, the remaining G20 countries pushed ahead with a unified message and adopted a declaration, even as Canada delivered one of the most significant warnings about the shifting balance of global power. South Africa, hosting the first G20 summit on the African continent, announced that every participating nation backed the 122-point declaration. The document calls for urgent global cooperation to help vulnerable countries manage climate-driven disasters, ease the crushing debt, transition towards cleaner energy, and develop their own mineral resources. South Africa framed the agreement as a critical step towards narrowing global inequality. Washington had reportedly urged South Africa to avoid adopting any joint declaration without American participation. But world leaders moved forward anyway, and among the most notable reactions came from Canada's Prime Minister, who pointed to a world undergoing dramatic economic realignment.
This year's G20 summit brought together nations representing 3/4 of the world's population, 2/3 of global GDP, and 3/4 of the world's trade. And that's without the United States formally attending. It's a reminder that the center of gravity in the global economy is shifting.
And when asked whether the American absence threatens global cooperation, Carney acknowledged that multilateralism faces serious challenges, especially as new trade partnerships accelerate to offset the impact of the Trump-era tariffs. And that shift is already visible. India is exploring renewed trade pacts with Canada and China. South Korea is coordinating with Taiwan on semiconductor production to temper supply chain disruptions, while China continues to expand its footprint across ASEAN economies and amid the rising tariff pressure from Washington. While the conclusion of the G20 and with the conclusion, Prime Minister Modi also wrapped up his 3-day visit to South Africa while taking part at the India-Brazil-South Africa summit in Johannesburg. Prime Minister Modi called for the immediate reforms in the UN Security Council. During a meeting with the Brazilian president and the South African president on the sidelines of the G20 summit, the Indian Prime Minister urged that the India-Brazil-South Africa troika should send a clear message for overhauling global governance structures. Prime Minister Modi also stressed that reforming the United Nations Security Council is no longer an option, but a necessity. Overall, the G20 has delivered a clear message. The world is moving forward with or without the United States. Our top story tonight on Gravitas. We are asking the question, can India take Sindh as separatists continue to batter the Pakistan army? Because the Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's latest remarks regarding the province have likely triggered both strategic and psychological unease across Pakistan's power corridors, and also brought back the spotlight on Sindh's deep historical and cultural ties with India. Comments that come at a time when Pakistan's own security structure is being battered by separatist violence across multiple provinces. At an event of the Sindhi community in New Delhi, the Defence Minister said that Sindh may be separated politically, but its civilizational bond with India never broke. He pointed out that the Sindhi Hindus, including leaders like former Deputy Prime Minister Lal Krishna Advani, had emotionally rejected the partition line that placed Sindh inside Pakistan. Rajnath Singh highlighted Advani's own writing, where he noted that both Hindus and many Muslims traditionally viewed the Indus River as sacred. The Defence Minister said this shared reverence reflects a cultural unity that political borders could not erase. And he then delivered the remark that is perhaps echoing across Islamabad and Rawalpindi. Listen to this.
आज सिंध की भूमि, मेरे बहनों भाइयों, यह भारत का हिस्सा भले ही न हो, लेकिन सभ्यतागत रूप से सिंध हमेशा भारत का हिस्सा रहेगा। और जहां तक जमीन की बात है, तो बॉर्डर्स तो बदल सकते हैं, क्या पता कल को सिंध भारत में फिर से वापस आ जाए।
You heard those words. Observers interpret those comments as deliberate signaling aimed at Pakistan's establishment, knowing the clip would likely go viral within hours, not just in Islamabad, but across Pakistan. The message, they say, is absolutely clear. India is asserting that it has not forgotten Pakistan's history or geography, while making it clear that it is India that decides the terms of the narrative, all without firing a shot. New Delhi made the comments, but observers say Karachi and Rawalpindi are dealing with the consequences. And the Indian military has also made it clear that it remains ready for any kind of conflict on the sidelines of an Indian army exercise in Uttarakhand. Lieutenant General Manoj Kumar Katiyar said that India is prepared for all types of warfare. Listen to this.
Until we capture land, Pakistan will not believe that we have won. All domains are important. We are preparing on all domains for a battle.
Pakistan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs reacted to Rajnath Singh's comments and accused India of expansionism. But this comes at a time when Pakistan's internal security is under relentless assault. In Peshawar, suicide attackers stormed the headquarters of the Federal Constabulary earlier today itself, blew themselves up inside the compound. At least 3 personnel died, 5 were injured. Pakistan's Interior Minister condemned the attack, while Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chief Minister said such violence would not break morale. Security officials confirmed that 3 of the attackers were neutralized. Pakistan's media is reporting that Tehreek-e-Taliban, Pakistan's faction, claimed responsibility for the attack. This incident has brought to focus a rather troubling pattern. In September, 6 Pakistani soldiers were killed in an attack in Bannu district. In October, a suicide bomber rammed an explosives-laden vehicle in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, while just 2 weeks ago, 2 more suicide strikes hit the Cadet College in South Waziristan. And while the military is stretched thin in the northwest, separatist sentiment remaining in focus in the southwest. In May, Baloch nationalist leaders publicly declared independence, remember, sparking widespread sharing of an independent Balochistan map across social media, a map that often reappears online whenever instability surges there. In fact, amid the surge of violent incidents this month, citing the worsening law and order situation, authorities in Balochistan suspended mobile internet service in all 36 districts for 7 days last week. Tonight, as Pakistan faces insurgency and the escalating attacks, India's defense minister's comments once again reminding the world of Sindh's historical and cultural roots in India. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.